Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great weekend overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're gonna be speaking about Xander Zayas saying Jaron Ennis lacks confidence. Is it truth or is it mind games, man? We definitely gonna get into that. I just made a video about this and just released this just about an hour ago, man. If y'all want to go check it out, please feel free to do so. But this is pretty much gonna be the live version of the video that I just put out. You know what I mean? So for the people that's not capable of watching the lives while it's live, you know what I mean, feel free to go check out the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? We do this on a daily basis. How we feeling, man? I hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to my boy Shay with the first comment of the day. I see you in the building, brother. How we feeling? How we feeling? What's going on? There's a lot going on out here in this boxing world, man. We're gonna speak about just about everything until it's our time to go. You feel what I'm saying? Marissa, what's going on, Marissa? I'm feeling well. You know what I mean? It was a real productive day, man. I got a lot of stuff done. You know what I mean? Put some work in at the gym with my son. You know what I mean? Was kicking it with my son until I had to drop him off around like 4. Cleaned the crib, laundry. I mean, took care of some things with myself. You know what I'm saying? And we here now. You know what I mean? Got some good food today. I can't complain, man. That rent coming up, so I'm trying, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be a little bit responsible with my money. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be a little responsible with my money. That's all. That's all. Uh Shout out to the boy Shay. He said, good man. Good man. Seen Salim Bay in the world, in the amateur world. So he's special, man. He definitely is, man. 19 years old. Man, yo, I swear, bro. Like, I don't know if I was just living under a rock. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like Salim just blew up out of nowhere. But he's sensational, man. He's a hell of a fighter. In my Floyd Mayweather voice, a hell of a fighter. No, but for real though, he seems to be very promising. Uh, Won a silver medal, I think, in that tournament. He beat an Olympic silver medalist, so that's impressive, man. I mean, look, that kid could go as far as he wants to go. That's what I think. I would love to get some work between him and Derek, though. I think that'd be phenomenal. To be honest with you, I've been trying to set it up, but Salim just been traveling everywhere, so it's a little bit tough. But we gonna make it happen. Mr. Big Play Bray, what up? Chris Maldonado says, "Oh shit, we back." The video that I put out wasn't live, y'all. My fault for not telling y'all that. That was a pre-recorded video. If it was live, I would have been interacting with the chat. You know what I'm saying? But I released it as if it was a live, but it was pre-recorded. Let me see. J Cash, what up? What's going on? What's going on? Marissa says Zachariah Chapman is a real good amateur too. Yeah. He comes to our gym all the time. He spars my fighters all the time, and he's actually fighting May 16th at our amateur show at Pivot Boxing Academy. I know his dad Eugene real well. I'm not gonna say real well, but we have each other's numbers. We communicate regularly for sparring and stuff like that. That's a good brother right there, man. Shout out to Zachariah. He's I ain't gonna lie. When I first seen him spar, I was like, okay. I mean, I was trying to figure out exactly what his game was, but no, he could. He has Zachariah has a good jab. He has What's tricky about Zachariah is, for one, he's very good with distance control, right? And he counters in combinations. And he variates his speed on his punches too. So he could just be working, and in the middle of a combination, switch up the speed, throw some real fast shit, box relax. Like, he's very hard to figure out. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Very talented kid. But apparently he plays like basketball too and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to Zachariah. Absolutely. I'm trying to tell you, I be knowing these dudes, bro. Like, Zachariah, I think he came by one time to spar some kid that my dad had at that point. But then I was like, yo, man, that's great work. You know what I mean? I think he was ranked like number one in the country for a while at 132 or whatever the case is. So I was like, yo, like, can we get some work? So we exchanged numbers and all that. And, from there, we was able to get some sparring. Now he comes in pretty regularly for work. So it's dope. We got some really, really, really talented fighters out the city, man. I'm telling you, like, this new wave of fighters that's coming, it's gonna be different for sure. We're gonna have some more world champions on the way. Chris said, "Oh shit, my dumb ass was saying what's up." My apologies, man. My apologies. Josue Hernandez, what up, man? Talk to me. How we feeling? How we feeling? Before we get into the boxing talk, how we feeling? Yeah, man. Seen that interview Xander Zayas dropped. He was talking a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that shit kind of caught me off guard when he said what he said, man. Boots got yes men around him, and I mean he needs 10 people to tell him that he's the best. And he said I could look myself in the mirror every day, and like, I could wake up in the morning and look myself in the mirror. I mean, I don't need nobody to tell me I'm the best. I know I'm the best. And I was like, damn. You think Luther gonna be the best pro? Are you talking about Marcus Luther? I think that's who you're referring to. I mean, time will tell, man. We never really know because there's a lot of people who do well in the amateurs and then don't do so well in the pros. We have people that don't do so well in the amateurs and do phenomenal in the pros. Um, then you have the ones who do well in the amateurs and then they do well in the pros as well. So, it's a coin toss for real. It's just all about how they adapt to the game. Are they taking the game serious? Um, are they able to slow things down? Are they, 'cause I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of these amateur dudes, the reason why they be able to excel in the amateurs is because they got a motor, right? So I mean, they constantly letting their hands go, letting their hands go. They not really in the amateurs. You don't really have much time to think. I mean, you just gotta work. You gotta work because you only got 3 rounds in that open class. You got 3 minutes, so you only got 9 minutes to box. In the pros, things slow down. You know what I mean? And it puts you in a position where you have to really use your IQ in there. A lot of these amateurs they didn't have IQ to begin with. They was just, you know, high work rate type of guys. And then once their IQ, because they didn't work on their IQ in the amateurs, it caught up to them in the pros, and now they're a step behind everybody else. You feel what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man, it's a coin toss. Josue Hernandez said, "Let me take these glasses off. These just for fashion anyway." Um, Xander delusional. I wonder why. I wonder what he gonna say when he loses. Hey, man. I ain't gonna lie, that shit caught me off guard. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, man, Xander Zayas did an interview with Fight Hub TV with Marcus Hayes. Shout out to Marcus Hayes. It was a pretty good interview. I said it in the video as well. The interview is about like 25 minutes long. And he was asking he asked like a good series of questions. And let me see. Let me see where it's at. I wanna rewind it back to the point where okay. All right, cool. I found the time frame for y'all. Well, Marissa said his excuse is going to be that he was weight drained and he should have already moved up to 160. I don't know if he's going to directly say that right after the fight, but what I think he's going to do, like, let's say hypothetically, Xander Zayas gets knocked out, he gets beat, whatever the case is, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? It's boxing. But let's just say Boots beats him. I think they're gonna applaud him for taking the chance. He's 20. He's gonna talk about how he dared to be great. You know what I mean? He was doing something, attempting to do something legacy defining, and that he doesn't duck any competition. You know what I mean? He gonna see what's next. He gonna go back to the drawing board, and then in his next fight he'll be at middleweight, and then he'll probably allude to staying at the weight too long or something like that in interviews after the fact. That's what I think could happen. You know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna make excuses right after the fight. I don't see that happening, but I do see him trying to take like this. You know, uh, my boy Mr. Big Play Brace said, from a boxing background, do you think Xander really sees holes in Boo's game, or he just building the fight up? Well, the reality is all these dudes got holes in their game. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. So, with that being said, Xander may very possibly see some things in Boo's game that he feels like he could take advantage of. Like when Mikey Garcia, when he said, "Oh, I see something in Earl Spence that I feel like I could take advantage of." I'm pretty sure Mikey Garcia did see some things. He just didn't have the abilities to, or there was other factors that played in that fight that Mikey Garcia didn't expect to overwhelm him, right? So Xander may see some situations where like, oh, Boots, let's say for instance, oh, well, Boots crosses his feet when he goes to his right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, maybe, you know what I mean? I could make him go to his right, and when he crosses his feet, you know, I could shoot a combination and then he'd be off balance. Or you know, Boots Boots bites on feints a lot. Not saying that he does, but you know, let's just say, for example, you know, he freezes off of feints a lot, you know, or you know, he's open for the left hook to the body. Let's just say that's just what it is. You know, you might see that, and then you may say out loud without saying like the specific thing. Oh, I see holes in Boo's game, and then you may try to expose that the night of the fight, but you aren't able to because Boo's got, you know, hands are fast. You know what I'm saying? He punches a little too hard. You know what I'm saying? His jab is on you. Like, you can see holes in people's game, but do you have what it takes to expose them holes in his game? That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. I could see, like, for instance, I seen holes in Floyd Mayweather's game. Do that mean that I could fucking expose it? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like, there's holes in every. You can't name a single fighter that has ever came into the sport of boxing that didn't have a flaw. I mean, we humans, we make mistakes. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. So I'm sure he sees holes. You know what I mean? And he may be possibly building the fight up too. Maybe both are true. But and he exposed them holes in Jaron Ennis's game. That's a totally different situation. Jaron, one of the best Ennis in the building. He says, "Can you really say you dared to be great if you lost to a dude you said you had a better resume and better skills than?" I get it, but that's just how I'm seeing it. See, this is why I'm not really too big on, you know, degrading opponents and shit like that. Because let's say, for instance, you going out of your way to call somebody a bum. Right? Oh, he a bum. Oh, he a trash ass fighter. Blah blah blah. And then you lose to that guy. What does that say about you? That shit's all gonna come back to bite you in the ass, right? That's why. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with trash talking, but you got to make sure you're not necessarily saying that, you know, your opponent isn't worthy. Because for one, it look like you cherry picking. If that's the case, then in two, if you lose to that person, it makes you look terrible. So I seen Xander, you know, saying that Boots has always been comfortable. You know, he gets hit with clean shots. He gets hit with everything. He's going to be chasing shadows. You're basically implying that you're going to outbox Boots and you're going to hit him whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? So in your mind, based off of you saying that, you don't feel like Boots is on the same level as you. Cool. So if it's a situation where, you know, the opposite happens and he's hitting you with whatever he wants to hit you with, you know what I mean? He's making you chase shadows and shit like that. That trash talk is gonna age like milk, man. You know what I mean? But I think that they both got respect for each other, man. I think Xander, he understands what's in front of him. I think Boots understands too. They just believe in each other, and it could come across as them underestimating each other, but I don't think that's what it is, man. I just think they're very confident in each other's abilities. Now, let's get into this video, man. Shout out to the 21 people that's in the building. I'm gonna pull up this interview with Marcus Hayes. I already got the video, you know, locked in, ready to go. Y'all go ahead and smash that like button. Of course, we're gonna have a conversation with everybody that's in the chat. So if it's 18 people in the building, I need 18 people conversing with your boy. Now, let's hear Xander Zayas. Let's hear this question from Marcus Hayes, and then let's hear Xander Zayas' reply. Because I ain't gonna lie, this is the most eye-catching part of the interview, in my opinion, because I've never heard this before. So let's hear it.
You as a younger fighter have said on multiple occasions that basically you're looking to take Ennis to school, that you got more of a mental capacity than you feel like he does. Where does that come from, and what makes you feel that way?
Because I wake up every day and I can look at myself in the mirror, and I don't need 10 people behind me telling me I'm the best. I know I'm the best. I live with that in my head. I go about my business with that in my head. He needs 10 people approval. He needs everybody to approve to him that he's the best. You know, even in the corner, when the corner is not comfortable, he doesn't look comfortable. When the corner gives an instruction, he don't pay attention to his corner. He's never focused. He needs 10 people telling him that he's the best, that he needs to do this, he needs to do that. When those 10 people run out of options or run out of answers, I will always be there for him. I will always be there for him.
So that's Xander Zayas' response right there. What I take from what he said was he's confident in himself. You know what I mean? That he doesn't need anybody to give him any type of reassurance, any of that. That's already in his head. He tells himself that. He gets a self-reassurance. His confidence comes from himself. On the other hand, based off of what he said, he feels like Boots is the total opposite. That he's somebody who doesn't wake up in the morning and look himself in the mirror. That he gets reassurance from the 10 people that surround him, from his team. You know what I'm saying? He needs people to tell him that he's the best in order to feel satisfied within himself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's his viewpoint. He also went on to say that Boots has, basically saying that Boots isn't coachable. That's basically what he's saying. He says that his corner gives him instructions and he doesn't even listen to them. And, basically he does whatever he wants in that ring. And that, I guess that Boots's mood is dependent upon how the way his corner feels. If his corner's uncomfortable, Boots is uncomfortable. If they're confident, he's confident. So basically, he mirrors whatever his corner feels in that particular moment. Now, that's his opinion. He feels like, he's the more, sound fighter from a mental aspect because he feels like his confidence comes from a genuine place. Then on top of that, he's making it clear that he is coachable. He listens to his team. He feels like Boots doesn't listen to his team. His team doesn't have to gas his head up, because he already knows what it is. He feels like Boots has to be told a million times that he's the best in order for him to believe that. And, he's pretty much saying that Boots' team is good for massaging his ego. That's what I take from this whole situation. Now, I thought that this was very interesting because, for one, I've never heard this before from Boots' opponents, anything like that. I've never heard anything through the grapevine saying that Jaron Ennis is insecure or anything like that. My direct experience with Jaron Ennis, very calm, cool individual, man. I've seen a lot of insecure fighters. I've dealt with a lot of insecure fighters. You know what I mean? That, look for validation from their team, to pretty much lie to them and tell them shit that's not true just so they can feel better about things. I've seen that shit happen time and time and time again, man. It's a lot of insecure motherfuckers in this business. Trust and believe that. I've dealt with them. I've seen situations from other teams where they showcase insecurities. Trust me, I get it. But from my relationship, well, not relationship, but from my experience with being around Boots in this camp, man, first of all, Boots has a very tight-knit team. You know what I mean? You don't really see Boots, getting rid of trainers and revising his whole team on some Tim Zoo shit. For the most part, I see Jaron Ennis with the same people that he's been with since the beginning of his boxing career. I see him with Bozy, of course, that's his father, his two brothers, Farah and Pooh. You know what I mean? You might see, rarely you'll see his mom, but, at one of the media workouts for Weez Malima, his mom was in the building. You know what I mean? It's like all immediate family. Coach Altaf, who was his strength and conditioning coach, that was his brother's strength and conditioning coach. So he just brought him up. He brought him back in the mix. That's all. And you got Coach Smalls, who's like his assistant coach, Tamir Smalls' father. So you got the same people that's been around you for. Boots is about to be a pro for, I think it's been 10, 11 years that Boots has been a pro. He's been with the same people. So I don't understand. I mean, Boots, when he says 10 people, I guess he's, just talking about Boots' team overall. I don't even think Boots got 10 people on his team, point blank, period. So I guess that was a bit of like, a little bit of hyperbole, a bit of an exaggeration. But regardless, man, like I've been in the gym with Jaron and his firsthand knowledge. I've seen him. I've seen his workouts. I've seen him do strength and conditioning. I've seen him spar. I've seen a little bit of everything with Boots. You feel what I'm saying? I've seen just about everything that there is to see, to be honest with you. Pad work, all that. And every time I've ever seen Boots training, I've always heard him get guidance from his team. You know what I mean? I've heard Bozy, give him instructions when he wasn't, doing something in particular the correct way. I've seen him, give Boots advice. I've seen Boots follow through with the advice. Boots, from what I've seen, is a pretty coachable fighter. You know what I mean? But when you had the same coach for all of your life, which is your father, you pretty much already know what he's gonna say, you know how he's gonna say it, and you know exactly what to do in order to, you know, make Bosey feel like you're paying attention to him. You know what I'm saying? They chemistry is through the roof, man. Like it don't get much closer than the son and the father. You know what I mean? So I've seen Boost be coachable. I've seen Boost get criticism from his team, and I've seen him make the adjustments in order to, fix some things. You know what I mean? That's just things that I've noticed personally, just being around him. Also, I don't really hear people around Boost gas anymore. I really don't. Like his fighters that he has signed, I feel like Boost gets treated like a regular person. I don't see nobody carrying the motherfucker bags. I don't see nobody. Every time I see Boots walking the gym, he holding his own bags. You know what I mean? I don't see nobody, tying his shoes. I see the man tying his own shoes. Like I don't really see anybody catering to him. What makes me feel like he has a group of yes men around him. And trust me, I've seen that. I've seen that, bro. Like I've literally seen that. Motherfuckers getting their shoes tied and just doing whatever play the music, put this on, put this on. Like I've seen motherfuckers get catered to like kings in boxing gyms when they weren't even nobodies for real. Boots gets treated just like everybody else gets treated. You know what I mean? That's just my experience of what I've seen. I've never seen anything jump off the page where it's like, oh man, Boots really just he got a bunch of enablers in this motherfucker. Like, not at all. Not at all, man. I've seen Bosey, urging Boost to do shit in the gym, like, yo, man, stop playing, man, pick it up, blah, blah, blah. Like, he'll tell Boost, like, get his shit together and get back in the mix, do what the fuck you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear Xander say this, it's like, I do think it was kind of a reach, in my opinion. Because for one, Xander has stated on the record publicly that he's never met Boots before. Like, he's never seen Boots face to face until the press conference. So if you've never seen this man face to face, you've never seen this man, you have no experiences with him, you don't personally know him. So to assume that he needs all of these people to jump out of their skin to, cater to his insecurities, or at least tell him lies, gas his head up. I don't really understand where that take came from. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really understand it at all. What was the other thing he said? He said that Boots doesn't listen to his corner, stuff like that. And I've seen Boozy give instructions and Boots just pretty much be on autopilot, man. I just chalked that up as a learning experience. But one thing I did do and I did see was Bosey get that motherfucker the formula for that Luis Malima fight. I heard him and Bosey talking back and forth in the gym, and he said that one of the shots that Boots is going to knock him out with is the uppercut. And was showing him exactly what shot it was that would do it. And that's exactly what happened with Luis Malima. To this day, that shit still blows my mind that, Bosey and Boots was able to, call that out loud, you know what I mean, and still and actually be able to execute it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty interesting from Xander to say this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand what it came from left field, to be honest with you. Let's see what else. Let's play this back and see what else he said. I might have missed something. No. Let me actually say this though. Hold on.
Yes. So I'm just saying. I feel like most of these guys, they are just,
right? Basically, you looking to take Ennis to school, that you got more of a mental capacity than you feel like he does. Where is that?
Okay. So what I also heard him say was that Boots, when his corner is uncomfortable, he's uncomfortable and stuff like that. Now let me say this, right? I don't understand where Xander, and the reason why I say that this is left field, because I remember previous interviews where Xander said that Boots has never been uncomfortable. Like, this is like, you could just pull this up. He didn't say that too long ago. You know what I mean? He sat there and he said that Boots has never been uncomfortable. I think that same interview where he said that he was going to rip Boots' heart out, I think that was with Inside the Ring with Max Kellerman and them. Boots has never been uncomfortable. Now, when you do this interview with Marcus Hayes, you're now saying that whenever his team is uncomfortable, he's uncomfortable. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where Xander's coming from. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's trying to move the goalposts. I don't know if he's talking about different levels of discomfort. You know what I mean? He's probably not talking about discomfort in terms of adversity, but in terms of discomfort in terms of like, frustration, or, things not going how, he intended it on going, or, he's getting a little bit of resistance in the ring. So now, he's frustrated. He's angry about how the way things are going because things aren't really falling into his plan. I don't know exactly what he's talking about, but it is kind of crazy. Not too long ago, you said that Boots has never been uncomfortable in the ring before, that all his opponents have been tailor made for him. And now you're saying that you've seen instances where his corner was uncomfortable, so Boots was uncomfortable as a result of that. It's really hard for me to understand how you could say both of those things and that not be a contradictory statement. Uh, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I caught out of this whole situation. Now, my boy Tricks, shout out to my no wait, hold up. Shout out to my boy Go787. He says Xander about split. I don't know about the convo. Been working OT lately. Bless everyone. Catch y'all later. Shout out to my boy Go787. Rooting for Xander Zayas heavy in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Trick said, Mazuma, is there any truth to what Xander is saying about Boots, or is he talking for the camera to sell the fight? Well, I was just speaking on that, but if you're just catching on to the live, look, I've had direct experiences with Jaron Ennis and his team. I've never gotten, and I keep it real. I don't give a fuck. If I felt like this team was full of yes men, I'd say it. But based off of what I've seen, I see people that hold Boots accountable. They making sure that he's working hard, making sure that he's working on everything he needs to work on. You know what I'm saying? I see corners giving him instructions, telling him what he should avoid and what he should do. You know what I mean? Like, they really put in work and they're perfecting their crafts in that gym. Like, you don't get as good as Jaron Ennis and be as well-rounded as a fighter as Jaron Ennis if you don't have people on your team push you to the limit to make you better. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't really understand that. I don't think you get as skilled as Boots. I don't think you are as hard of a worker as Boots if you don't have people around you holding you accountable. You know what I mean? And I've seen his brothers. His brothers always making sure that he's working. They've been there before. They know what it takes. But Boots just took, and what I mean by that is being able to, get ready for a training camp, to get ready for big fights and stuff like that. Like, Farah and Pooh been in a few different fights, and they was contenders in their division. Boots was just able to take it to the next level. So you got people around him who've been there before, want to see him do better. They want to see him be at the top, the pinnacle of the sport. So they're pushing him. So when I hear that Xander Zayas is saying that there's 10 people there's 10 people around him saying that he's the best, blah, blah, blah. For one, you should have a team that believes in you that much where they're saying that you're the best. That's one. And then you're saying that Boots, basically Boots can't look himself in the mirror and get his confidence from within himself. I don't think you perform the way that Jaron Ennis performs and not be confident within yourself. I don't think Boots takes this fight with you if he wasn't confident in himself. If his confidence was fabricated, if that shit was solely relying upon his team gassing his head up, that shit would have been exposed by now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see a yes man on Jaron Ennis' team. From my experience, Bozy don't play that shit. He don't play that shit, bro. Bozy makes sure that Boots is doing everything that he needs to do, and that Boots is fucking up. He's gonna let him know that. Yes men don't do that. Yes men just let you do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. They enable you to partake in bullshit just as long as they get their check. As long as they're able to benefit off of you, they'll let you do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do, even if it means destroying yourself. And we've seen plenty of teams like that in the sport of boxing that allow their fighters to do whatever they want as long as they get a check. Boots is not in one of those situations, man. He has genuine family around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see like his brothers, his father. You might see his mother. You might see his little nephew who's an amateur boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see these things. Like, you don't really see no outsiders with fucking Jaron Ennis. Like, you're not gonna catch Jaron Ennis kicking it with motherfucking Johnny Dang or Fat Joe or like one of these motherfuckers that just be coming around just because. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see Boots around people that genuinely fuck with him. So I don't know where Xander Zayas got this information, to be honest with you. Maybe that's just his perception of Boots based off of that experience that he had with him at the press conference. But all in all, man, I think Xander's dead wrong, but he's entitled to his opinion. Um, there's a few things that Xander's been saying about Boots that's letting me know what's giving him confidence. For one, he keeps mentioning that Boots is small. You know what I mean? Keeps mentioning that, at 154, these guys are bigger, we're hitting harder, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Keeps bringing up the chasing shadows point, which lets me know that he's definitely going to be, punching and moving against Boots, and Boots is going to have a hard time catching up, according to Xander Zayas. So we're getting a good insight on what Xander Zayas' mentality is in the lead up to a fight. Just like I said for the Jorge Garcia Perez fight, I told y'all that making weight was something that was very heavy on Xander's mind. You know what I'm saying? Because every time he was being interviewed, especially when he was with his nutritionist, he was like, I just got to make sure I make weight. I just got to make sure I make weight. Like, people don't do that. People don't say those things out loud unless it's a genuine concern of theirs. And I seen somebody in the comments saying how he looks lighter in the face. Yeah, man, he's well in the training camp by now. So yeah, he definitely looked a little big at the press conference. This interview right here, his face looks a little bit skinnier. What's concerning to me, in all honesty, about Xander is I'm seeing his workout pictures and him at the track and stuff like that. And it's great that he's working out. But when you're looking at this man's physique, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. You don't really see much fat on him. So that's kind of concerning for me because Xander still looks heavy at the same time. Let me actually pull up his Instagram just so I mean, y'all don't be like, oh, Mark, you capping, and motherfuckers love to talk shit. But let me show you one of the pictures. There was a picture of him at the track, and he was with a group of people. Where the hell is it at? Did they delete it? Might have deleted it, or he just didn't post it on his main page. But I saw his stories. I seen a story, and he had a group of people with him. He was at the track, man. He was absolutely shredded. Like, I'm talking about, Zayas already looks like he's in phenomenal shape, and it don't look like he got much fat to cut from. So my question is, where the fuck is this weight gonna come off of? That's the issue, right? Because even in his last weigh-ins, you could tell he sacrificed to make weight, face all sunken in and shit like that. That's normal at this point. And Xander is getting bigger as he's getting older. I remember him being very skinny on his come up with Tyrang when he was at 140, 147. But all of a sudden, since he's been at 54, this dude is just getting colossal. I don't know what it is. I see that he does a lot of strength training. Maybe that plays a part. But regardless, man, I'm seeing this dude workout pictures, and bro, he's in phenomenal shape. Like, abs all ripped the fuck up, arms all big, shoulders, all of that, big upper body. And he don't look like he got much fat on him. He looked like he's legit all muscle. Look like he's ready for the scale right now. But the problem is he doesn't look 154. So I don't know how much his body fat percentage is. I couldn't tell you none of that stuff, but don't really look like he got much to shred from. That's the problem. So I hope this isn't a situation where Xander, to get them last few pounds off, he's cutting into his muscle. You definitely don't need to do that. Do not pull a Connor Benn. You know what I mean? Don't do none of that because, with somebody dangerous like Jaron Ennis, that shit could really be curtains for you, man. Could really be curtains for you. So he says he has a nutritionist and all of that, and they take care of like his food, and they make sure that he gets the weight off easily. But one thing a nutritionist cannot do is stop your body from growing, man. Regardless of how much they feed you, how many calories that motherfucking omelet may be, and what I mean, they could be experts in that field and making sure that you have the proper nutrients in your body and that you're losing the weight gradually. But if your body is telling you that it's time to move up, give a fuck what strength and conditioning coach you got, what weight loss experts you got, chemists, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you're going to have a difficult time getting that weight off, man. And I don't know if this is the fight where this ain't the fight to come in drained at. It's really not, because Boo's going to come firing on all cylinders. This is his second fight at 154. So, what I mean? When you're relatively new to a weight class, of course, you're going to be feeling sensational. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about being at 147 no more. You still feeling good off of that additional 7 pounds that you could fall back on. It may be a situation where they both may be feeling the total opposite the day of the win. One person like Boost may feel very energized, you know what I mean, feeling very good, and then you may have feel somebody in Xander who maybe, you know what I mean, throat might be a little dry, pause, you know what I'm saying, lips might be a little ashy, skin, you know what I mean, lips all chapped and shit. Like it might be one of those situations. So, yeah, man, you know, I said a lot about this particular topic, but I'm seeing people say, Good Luck Hook says, I'm rooting for Xander, but sometimes I wonder if he actually believes what he says. I remember a year ago he said he has faster hands than Virgil. I don't think Xander has fast hands at all. Like he's not slow. He's fluid with his punches, but I don't think like he's lightning fast or something like that. Virgil's more explosive and definitely look like he has faster hands, but I mean, maybe Xander just believes in himself, man. Yeah, I mean, maybe he just believes in himself. Maybe he just sees something different from everybody else. But you know, when I see Xander shooting his combinations and stuff like that, you know, I don't really see no crazy hand speed. I see, you know, solid technique. I see great punch fluidity, like he's putting his punches right behind each other. But for the most part, man, like I don't see anything where it's like a Gary Russell, Amir Khan type of speed, where it's like, holy shit, young Floyd Mayweather type of speed. No, I don't see that at all. I see somebody with decent hand speed, not the worst, but definitely not the best. You know what I mean? And there ain't no disrespect towards Xander Zayas at all. I don't think he's sensational in any department, but I do think he's pretty good in each one. He's a solid, well-rounded fighter. Doesn't have the fastest feet, but he got good feet. Doesn't have the best angles, but he got good angles. You know, he don't got the best jab, but he has a good jab. He doesn't have the best power, but he has decent power. He's not the best counter puncher, but he's a solid counter puncher. Xander has a lot of good things going on. He's just not the number one in either one of those categories, if that makes sense. Great, well-rounded fighter. Nothing wrong with that. I'd rather be a Xander type of fighter where I was good in every department rather than being the best in one department and being trash in all the other ones. Well-rounded fighters are the best type of fighters to be because you have more that you can rely on. You know what I mean? If Xander was like this one-dimensional fighter where all he could do is come forward, he would get cooked against Boots. But you know what gives Xander confidence going into this fight? That he could move. You know what I mean? That he could punch and move. That he has good legs. He has good combinations. So he feels like he's gonna give Boots something that he's never seen before. That remains to be seen, though. My boy Ralph said Xander like a textbook fighter, but he's good at what he does. It works for him. Exactly. You know what I mean? Good textbook fighter. And some of my favorite fighters of all time was great textbook fighters. Like I said, Mikey Garcia is one of them. Textbook, but phenomenal fighter. 4-division champion at that. Not many people could say that they did that. With some good wins on his resume as well. Robert Easter, Adrian Broner. You got Sergey Limpinus, an undefeated Sergey Limpinus. You got Orlando Salido. You got Juan Manuel Lopez. You got some good wins. Mikey Garcia got some quality wins on his resume. He was a textbook guy. So, yeah. I could definitely see what you're saying, Ralph, for sure. But what do I think? There's people that's asking, is this like mental warfare? Is he trying to convince himself? Or does he genuinely believe this? Xander never came across as somebody who – hold on. Mr. Big Play Bray said, please explain why some boxers know it's time to move up and stay down. Because they want to they want to have that advantage for as long as they can. You know what I mean? It's two things in my opinion. For one, they always want to be the bigger guy in whatever division that they're in, right? Well, it can actually be more than two things, but let me just say this. One reason maybe because they want to have that advantage for being big for the weight class, right? So that's one. They want to be the bigger guy. They want to have that advantage, and when they go into fights, they can have a size advantage. A lot of these guys care about that. That's why they, boil down in weight You know, a guy who walks around at 140, it might boil down to 122 because at 122 they're a bigger fighter, and a lot of dudes aren't going to be able to keep up with them the night of the fight because they put on like 20 pounds after the weigh-in, right? So that's one. Two, if the division is hot and there's a shit ton of money that could be made in the division, I can see why fighters will stick around at that weight class despite being drained because you know the division he may move up to may be a dead division where there's not much money. But in this division that I'm shriveling down to, you know, that I'm shrinking down to get to, might have a nice couple dollars for me. Then three, you know, it could be, man, them dudes up in the higher weight classes, they just as big as me. You know what I mean? Or they might be bigger than me. I'm gonna be going into that weight class at a disadvantage and shit like that. So, you know, if I had to chalk it up to three things, it's because one, you know what I mean, they're looking for the size advantage. Two, there might be some money that they might be trying to get in that division. Or three, they don't want to go up and weight where they could either be on the same playing field as a fighter or they may come into the weight, you know, as a smaller guy or have some sort of disadvantage. A lot of the times, what it comes down to is the money and trying to be, you know, big for the weight class. If I had to guess, that's what it would be. Like Dev when he was at 35. Yeah, Dev was at 35. He was trying to become undisputed, and there was some big names in the division that he was trying to fight. You know, he was trying to get Teofimo Lopez. He got knocked off by Kambosos. He fought Kambosos, you know what I mean, twice. And then he went on, he fought Vasil Lomachenko to defend his undisputed titles. You know what I mean? But you know, he moved up after the fact because, you know, Devin Haney was killing himself to get down. Those last couple fights, especially that George Kambosos fight, that shit was bad, man. That was super bad. So I'm glad that he moved up, but he stuck around in the division because, yeah, I mean, he wanted to get a signature win in his career, and he was able to do so. You know what I mean? But you know, Dev, you really look at Dev and you be like, damn, how the fuck did you even make 35? Because he looks like a legit welterweight. He looks like a legit welterweight, man. Don't look undersized. Don't look small for the weight. Like, there's not many people at welterweight who's really bigger than Dev. So it makes you wonder, like, damn, how the fuck did you even get down to that weight? But I guess when you young, you know, late teens, early 20s, whatever the case is, you could get away with them massive weight cuts, man. Once you hit them late 20s, your body start to mature, and it's wraps after that. The fact that Xander's 23 and he's growing the way that he's growing, he might end his career as like a light heavyweight, bro. He really might. Like, he might just cap off his career super middleweight, maybe light heavy. Xander's a big dude, man. So Bray, I hope I answered your question. Rouse said he stayed long. He outgrew 140 as well. He just naturally grew into the 147 frame. Yeah. Yeah, I think that he stuck around at 35 so much that, you know, when he gave his body an opportunity to grow, that shit grew past 140, man. That happens with a few fighters. When fighters stick around at weight classes too long, when they go up by the time, sometimes they stick around so long that when they move up in weight, that's still not enough for their body to you know, stay healthy or gather strength, whatever the case is. I'm trying to see exactly how to explain it. But like Rolly Romero, for instance, he stood at 135 way too long. That by the time he got to 40, he still was a drained fighter. So he should have just skipped the weight class altogether. And you see that he's performing a lot better at 47 now. Somebody by the name of JB Too Smooth 92, he said, do you think the key factor in this fight is who will be more consistent on that night, or is it elite fighter with skill will beat the pretty good fighter? What I think this fight is going to come down to is Jaron Ennis's approach. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we all got a good sense of what Xander Zayas is going to do, you know, come fight night. I think that he's going to be, you know, much of himself. You know what I mean? I think we're going to see a similar Xander Zayas to what we've seen with Baz Barao and Jorge Garcia Perez in terms of, letting the fighter come forward, you know what I mean, and him just doing his impression of an outboxer. You know what I'm saying? Textbook combination, stepping around, using side to side movement. You know what I mean? Like I think that he's gonna do that. Now, Boots has to have a certain mentality going into this fight in terms of, for one, he's already studying Xander. I could tell by how the way he talks about him that he's been watching some film. Even when he's saying negative things about Xander, when he said, "Oh man, like you slow, man. Like do me a favor and watch yourself, watch your own fights." That lets me know that Boots is actually indeed watching Xander Zayas fights, and that's things that he sees that he feels like he could take advantage of. I think Boots has to have this mentality where it's like, got to stay composed for one, because Xander's not going to give you any, easy routes. He's not going to make things easy for you. He's going to make it as difficult as possible, because Xander's end goal is to try to get you frustrated. He wants you to get frustrated. He wants you to abandon the game plan. He wants you to load up on big punches, you know what I mean? So he can make you miss and make you pay, essentially, right? So I think Boots has to have this mentality where it's like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just let the I'm gonna let the knockout come to me in terms of, setting my punches up, using the jab, you know what I mean? Just being sharp and just staying in a calm state of mind. I think the moment that Boots gets frustrated or he gets angry because things aren't going his way, I think that's when shit may start to favor Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he wants to do that. I think that he wants to stay calm. I think he wants to, listen to his coach for one, listen to Bozy, you know what I mean? See what he has to say, see what he sees, and, stick to the plan, bro. Definitely stick to the plan. Uh, So I think that's going to be the key factor. I think he's going to be Jaron Ennis's approach. If he gets frustrated and he gets out of character, Xander may be more successful in the fight. If Boots is calm, cool, collected, focused, following the game plan, not allowing himself to get frustrated, I think that the fight would really I think the shit'll get dark. I ain't gonna lie to you, but that's what I think the key factor is. Of course, it's gonna come down to consistency, JB. Because if either one of them is inconsistent the night of the fight, they could be, behind on the scorecards. You know what I'm saying? So if Xander is inconsistent with his footwork, if he's inconsistent with his volume, that would mean that he's going to stand in front of Boots and he's not going to throw many punches, right? You don't want to do that if you're Xander Zayas. If Boots is inconsistent, that means that he's not going to be letting his hands go. You know what I mean? He's not going to be using his jab. He's not going to, be aggressive and go to the body. You want to do those things with Xander. You don't want to keep your hands in your pocket, because Xander Zayas does throw a lot of punches. You don't want to be economical with somebody like Xander, right? So consistency is definitely going to be a major key. But I do think that Boots, I think a lot of people are looking for reasons to shit on Boots. I think that the whole narrative that's going around with these, media outlets is that, Boots is athletically gifted. He's the more gifted fighter, but Xander's the more skilled guy. I don't think that's the case at all. You know what I mean? Oh, Xander's more fundamentally sound. I don't think that shit neither. I think a lot of y'all get caught up in the flashiness and don't really pay attention to the technical abilities of Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis is extremely technical. You know what I mean? I think maybe because he's a showman and he may be, a bit of an entertainer in there, you guys don't really pay attention to the little stuff. But Xander's eyes is fundamentally sound for sure. But Boots is fundamentally sound in his own right. Roy Jones Jr. came out and said it himself. He's not just somebody who is athletic. He's fundamentally sound as well. So if all-time greats like Roy Jones are noticing this, then obviously it's there. I mean, these dudes aren't delusional. They've been in the game longer than we've been alive. They know what they see. I see it as well. But the narrative that's going around right now is that Xander's the more fundamentally sound boxer. No, Xander has to rely on his fundamentals more than Jaron is. Just because he relies on them more doesn't mean that he has better fundamentals. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, let's say I was a basketball player and they compare me to Steph Curry. You know what I mean? And Steph Curry's the king of the three-point jumper, but you know what I mean? I got a nice little mid-range shot or whatever the case is. they're gonna be like, oh well, Steph Curry may be the better 3-point shooter, maybe the better 3-point shooter, but Mark, he really got the mid ranges down in the bag. No, I'm pretty sure Steph Curry is better than me at shooting the fucking mid range jumper. He just doesn't really show it too much. Why? Because he can get away with just shooting threes. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think because Boots is a showman in there and he uses his reflexes and he does a little bit of showing off in the ring, that people just completely forget that this man is fundamentally sound. It's not always how it goes, man. Just because I shoot mid ranges all the time don't mean that I'm a better mid range shooter than Curry. Curry shoot threes, man, but he don't shoot mid. But he ain't got the mid range like Mark, bro. If Steph Curry could shoot a three, he could fucking shoot a mid range shot. Like, let's cut it the fuck out. Like, just because Boots is a little bit of a showman in there doesn't mean that he isn't fundamentally sound. I think you guys need to watch him a little bit more. That's all I think. I don't think there's anything that Xander does in the ring better than Boots. I really don't. Like, I don't think he has a better jab. I don't think he's faster. I don't think he's stronger. I don't think he's a bigger puncher. I don't think he's a better finisher. I don't think he's a better counter puncher. I don't think he has better reflexes. I don't think he's more explosive. And it's like, yeah, Xander uses his footwork more, but Boots got good footwork in his own right. Great L steps. You know what I'm saying? He can move side to side. You know what I mean? He just decides to be more offensive, so like he doesn't really have to do all of that moving. Like, I really don't. Maybe I'm being biased, but guess what? I'm Puerto Rican. I want to see Xander Zayas do well because he's a fellow Puerto Rican, but I can't deny what I see. I can't. So I see these narratives that's being pushed out here. People trying to downplay Jaron Ennis's resume and what he's done, and as if Xander Zayas got the fucking deepest resume in boxing. Like, cut it the fuck out, bro. You know what I mean? Both of these guys, are looking to establish their names and go on to be Hall of Famers and shit like that. They at the peak of their careers, and they're both each other's biggest fight thus far to date. So we could stop talking about resumes and who did what. Like, to be honest with you, Boots did the more, so far he's done the more impressive things at welterweight in comparison to Xander Zayas at 54. They both were unified. But between them, there was only one lineal champion. There was only one Ring Magazine champion. You know what I mean? Jaron Ennis was the one who was the number one welterweight and fought the number 2 guy. Hence why he got the Ring Magazine belt in the first place. Xander Zayas doesn't have that feat yet. He's not even the number 1 ranked guy on Ring Magazine at 154 right now. Couldn't say that about Boots at 147. You know what I mean? And neither one of these guys, in my opinion, got the deepest resume. They definitely got shit to work on resume-wise. But we not about to sit here and act like, oh, fuck Xander, he's 23. And Boots wasn't doing that when he was 23. Bro, Boots also wasn't signed with fucking Top Rank and didn't turn pro when he was 16 years old. The fuck? Like, what the fuck is we even talking about? You know what I mean? That motherfucker Xander Zayas has been taken care of since the beginning of his career. He inked the deal with Matchroom when he was 16. I mean, not Matchroom. With Top Rank when he was 16 years old. This man 23 now. 7 straight years of being with Top Rank, being moved the right way, getting the right fights, being put in position to fight for the vacant WBO title. Like, that's what we saw. Well, they was going after Sebastian Fundora, so I don't think they predicted that he would vacate. But regardless, like, you were moved, Top Rank and WBO, they like this. So they made sure that they did what they had to do to get at the top of the WBO rankings. You know what I mean? Like, Xander Zayas was very well taken care of. JB Too Smooth said, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it fair to say majority of Xander's opponents all have a similar style? I feel like Boo's resume have a different variety of opponents. Limpiness way different than Avila. Actually, Limpiness and Vila actually had kind of similar styles. Like, they were both aggressive. You know what I mean? They were both come forward. They both had like malicious intentions in the ring. So they actually had some type of similarities. What I would say is, guys like, let's say for instance, Vila and Karen Chukazan was 2 different styles. You know what I'm saying? Who else? There's a lot of opponents that I'm thinking of right now. Like Luis Malima didn't necessarily fight like a fuck is this dude name? Like a Stanionis. Like they didn't really fight the same. I thought that, you know, they were both strong. You know what I mean? Both come forward guys, but you know what I mean, I felt like Stanionis is a bit sharper than Luis Malima. I think Luis Malima was a bit more awkward. He was a bit more unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? He was a bit sloppier. So um Xander Zayas, I think a lot of the guys that he fought were either scary guys that were on the back foot or come forward, flat-footed Mexican type guys that he could just box circles around. You know what I mean? I think that's what Top Rank preferred to put in front of him. I mean, he fought like a washed-up Patrick Teixeira. They still trying to give him credit for that because he was a former world champion. He beat Carlos Adames at one point, but like lost the belt immediately after that. I'm sure like no fighters necessarily exactly fight the same, so you can make a case that they both got varieties in opponents. But Xander, for him to say that, like Boots is prepared for battle and he's prepared for war, and I'm like, bro, like what is making you say that? Like, so to him, with him saying that, he's basically saying that he's more battle tested than Boots. I'm just like, Boots can't help the fact that he's been putting out his opponents easier than you have. I don't really get it. Like he's fought, Boots has fought top contenders. I remember Custio Clayton was a top contender at 47. I remember Luis Malima being ranked in the top 10 at 154. I remember these things. Romain Villa coming off of the biggest win of his career against Rashidi Ellis. I remember these things. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like a lot of the guys that Xander Zayas fought didn't really have his boxing ability. So he was always able to outskill them. My boy Teaching the Building says Xander has been moving with purpose in his last two fights. I love how he picks his spots to attack. Yeah. That's when Boots' timing is going to have to come into play. He's going to have to understand when Xander's, about to fire off. You got to see when he's picking his spots. And I think if Boots shoots in between those combinations, he could do some serious damage to Xander Zayas. That's for sure. But I love how the way he's been moving too. Look, bro, you got 2 world title fights and back-to-back fights, and now you're a unified champion at 23 years old, one of the most action-packed divisions in the sport of boxing. You gotta respect that. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I respect that as well, man. I really do. McMorlane says Xander opponents have always been slower than him. None of his opponents had any type of real speed. Great point. He says, and you can hit Zayas without a jab. Garcia was hitting him with hooks, walking in on a straight line without using the jab. I seen him landing them right hands too. I seen him like, what is going on? Sorry about that. I was making sure that wasn't my car. Shit. He said, notice Xander starts to fatigue in the last 3 rounds. His punch output drops in the last 3 rounds of his last 3 fights. And it could be because of the dramatic weight cuts that he goes through. So understand this, right? Because I watched that Barao fight and I did see signs of fatigue in the later rounds, like 10, 11, 12. He fought his heart out in that 12th round, but he was showing signs of fatigue. He was getting hit a little bit more in them later rounds. Barao started to have more success. And that could be because of the weight cuts. Maybe them weight cuts, maybe he leaving a little bit of fight in that gym. In them last 3 rounds, he'd be a dead man. Now imagine that weight he just put on with Jaron Ennis, right? Because he's saying that he walking around 185, 190, shit like that. He even told Gabe Rosado that. Gabe Rosado let the cat out the bag on the Inside the Ring show with Max Kellerman and them. So you putting on you going up to 190 pounds. Mind you, that is literally 36 pounds above your fight weight. So you're going to spend the whole camp to get 36 pounds off. You know what I'm saying? You probably hit 200. I don't know. But let's just say, for instance, he hit 190 on the nose. That's 36 pounds that you got to drop by June 27th. What if it gets to fight week and you got 5, 6 more pounds to lose and your body's trying to hold on to that weight, you know what I mean, for as long as it can? You know what I mean? Now you overworking yourself. Now you overexerting yourself to just get them last few pounds off. And you get them pounds off, but your body's not truly recovered from going through that traumatic process. So now you about to fight 24 hours later. And you know what I mean? You start off, because you got 24 hours rest or whatever. Your conditioning look pretty solid for 8, 9 rounds. Then that 10th come around and then your legs start tweaking on you. You know what I mean? Your legs is stuck in the mud. Your shoulders tired. You know what I mean? You gasping for air. Your upper body movements slow down. Your hands not coming up how they used to. That's when shit could start to really get bad out here in these streets, man. One of the best is I think he's eating up media narratives. That's possible. You believe Xander's timing is better? Boost is explosive, has more raw talent. Okay. See, this is what I don't like. Son of Apollo said he's only 23. He'll be fine at the weight. So just because somebody's young, that means that they're exempt from being weight drained in a fight. That's not the case at all, man. Just because you're 23 years old, don't mean that, you're going to get away with a bad weight cut. A bad weight cut could fuck anybody over regardless of their age. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm seeing the pictures of Xander Zayas, man. And he's at them tracks and he's putting in that work. Salute to Xander for putting that work in, but I'm seeing him flex and he don't got much fat to lose. He don't have much fat to lose, man. I'm trying to find that picture of Xander when he was on the track and shit like that. Let me see if I can. Let me look one more time. Let me put it in the search bar and see what comes up. Where's it at? Let's take a look. Let's look at it. Let's check the timelines. Yeah, I can't find it. I swear, I was just looking at some picture of him on the track. Let me try one more time, y'all. I seen a picture with Tiger Johnson and all them. I can't find it. But anyways, let me check Twitter. I want y'all to really understand where I'm coming from. There you go. There you go, right there. I found it. Now, let's take a look. Let me share the screen. This is what I just came across on Twitter. Now, look at these guys, man. Right? You see Tiger Johnson. Charlie. I heard of Charlie. Now, look at Xander. Right? Dude, he got some water in his abdominal area, yes, but for the most part, he's already in pretty decent shape. You know what I mean? Don't look like he got much muscle. Much water like in the chest area. Like he looks absolutely jacked. Like he looks like he's in pretty good shape already. So besides the abdominal area, you don't see much water anywhere else. You don't really see his face all big, blown up like he was at the press conference. You seeing somebody who is literally in pretty good fucking shape and probably only has about like 5 pounds of water in his abdominal area right now, if I had to guesstimate. So with that being known, and mind you, it's not like he's, getting all of the muscle off his body. No, he's doing strength training as well. And muscle, you know, they say muscle weighs more than fat, whatever the fuck that means. But I guess what that means is like once you put that muscle on, it'd be hard to get that bitch off, man. And if you cut into the muscle, that shit could severely affect your performance. So when I'm seeing Xander right here, I'm seeing his abs already look defined as it is. Like, look, you don't really see no love handles on him. His shoulders, neck muscles all big and shit. Like, where is this weight gonna come off from? He ain't no fat motherfucker where it's like, all right, man, he definitely got some pounds to lose. No, not really. Is it just gonna be water weight? What if all the water weight is done? Like all the water, let's say he got 10 pounds of water in his system that he could get out. Okay, he could lose that 10 pounds, but guess what? He blown up to 190. So you're gonna get some fat off. You probably gonna get a lot of fat off by the time you hit like that low 70 area. Okay, cool. Now you got 10 pounds of water. Yeah, I mean, you get them 10 pounds of water off. Now you at 160. What's left to give? Your muscle? So now you're gonna cut into the muscle to get those last 6 pounds off, and then you think you're gonna be cool within 24 hours of rehydrating? Fuck no. Fuck no. Bro, I'm trying to tell the fuck. I'm trying to tell y'all something good, man. Like I've done weight cuts before. Like I know what it feels like. You feel what I'm saying? I've been there. I've done it in healthy ways. I've done it in unhealthy ways. And yeah, he's 23 years old. Like, yeah, like we know he's 23 years old, brother. I get it. When you in your early 20s, you will get away with a lot of shit that you won't get away with in your late 20s. I understand your youthfulness could really help you in some fucked up situations. But Xander is clearly outgrowing the weight. Trick said, do you think he's going to miss weight? I don't think he's going to miss weight. The question is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to perform at an optimum level after he makes the weight? I think he could make the weight. He got nutritionists and all that shit. He paying them motherfuckers good money to make sure that his weight is good. But one thing that I know is that you can have the best nutritionist in the world. You know what I mean? You can have the best strength and conditioning coaches, weight loss experts, and you can have all that in the world. But one thing that none of the motherfuckers could do is stop your body from growing. And when you blow, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, when you blowing up, this is why Andre Ward and his 10 boxing commandments always says to not blow up in weight, because when you're blowing up in weight, you're giving your body a chance to grow. When Terrence Crawford was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he said that he was keeping his weight low throughout his whole boxing career because he knew that if he blew up in weight, that he was probably going to eat himself out of weight classes. Y'all do know that eating yourself out of weight classes is possible despite your age. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to tell y'all, yeah, he's young, he's youthful, yeah, he's at the peak of his career thus far. Yeah. I understand that. But when you look what happened with Errol Spence, motherfucker was partying. This is what he said, not a partying, drinking, and getting into all these recreational things. And then, you know what I'm saying? He campaigned in that war for 147. He's a unified champion there. And then look, blowing up in weight. His body is giving him a harder time getting down to 47 because he's blowing up in weight so much that his body's growing, that he's trying to shrink back down to the weight that he was previously at, and his body's not responding correctly. That's why he had to jog with sauna suits and all of that shit. And then when he lost the bud, he moved up in weight immediately because he knew why he performed the way that he did. So I'm trying to tell y'all something, man. Xander could have all the resources in the world with his good promotional team, and he could be paying his nutritionist tens of thousands of dollars for camp, and all of that sounds good, man. But when you are not being disciplined outside of the ring and blowing up, 30, 40 pounds in between camps, that shit is going to eventually fuck you over. Look what happened with Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd was bragging about how, he was this big for 54 and he was bigger than this guy and this guy and this guy. And you see he was doing that shit with J-Rock, right? Look. Oh, so infatuated with him being the bigger man, and then when he got chopped up by J-Rock, that shit is like he wasn't the same no more. He wasn't the same no more. Trying to tell y'all something good, man. History repeats itself. And all I hear is Xander bragging about how big he is. But at a high level, size ain't the only, that's not like the ultimate factor. It really ain't. Let me see. T said it's hard to find a sparring partner who could replicate Boost. The closest I see are maybe Morrell or possibly Yo Enley. Xander really needs to study film closely. Tiger Johnson just isn't that look. This is the reality, though, Teach. You're not going to find, it's very rare to find people in general that's going to mimic another fighter perfectly, right? So what you have to do is you have to bring in multiple partners that are good, sparring partners that are good in each category that Boots is good at, right? So Boots is a switch hitter. Bring southpaw and orthodox guys to the camp. Southpaw and orthodox. Boots has fast hands. Make sure you got a motherfucker in here that has fast hands. Boots has power. Make sure you got some heavy motherfucking hitters in there. Good, slick boxers, bring them in there. You want to bring in, and you got the money to do so, so it ain't no fucking excuses. You got to bring in every look possible because Boots is a well-rounded guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a well-rounded guy. So you need to bring everybody. You have to bring every look because Boots is liable to give you any look. Bring the fast guys, bring the slick guys, bring the southpaws, bring the orthodox, bring the counter punchers. Bring guys with good jabs. Not only that, but Boots also has a significant reach as well. Bring the rangy motherfuckers. Next Gen said, if anything, he should get Abdullah for a few weeks. I don't think him and Abdullah cool like that. And what I noticed is when fighters become world champions and shit, they don't do that sparring partner shit no more. Some fighters find that extremely offensive. I ain't no fucking sparring partner. I'm a world champion. Like I've heard fighters say that out loud. So yeah, Abdullah worried about his own fight. He ain't about to be getting around trying to help other motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? Like he they student or some shit like that. Or he they little homie. I highly doubt Abdullah would do that. You know what I mean? He worried about his own shit. And I don't think he's gonna spar a big ass Xander Zayas to get ready for little old Joe Cordina. To be honest with you. JB Too Smooth said, Greg said the Tiger sparring might be a confidence thing. It might be. You know what I mean? Because and I think Tiger also he talked about sparring Boots in the past too. So who knows, man? Maybe that's a psychological thing. Maybe he using him for mental warfare because he probably like, yeah, I'm bringing somebody over here that you spar with. You know what I mean? So I'm sure Boots don't really give a fuck. Let's just keep it real. Like I highly doubt he would give a fuck about him sparring Tiger Johnson. Tiger Johnson and Boots don't fight nothing alike anyway. But maybe he's just looking for that sharp work. Tiger is sharp. You feel what I'm saying? Tiger is sharp. That's sharp work, and Tiger got some decent power. He's a good boxer. That's somebody you should definitely bring in there. Absolutely. But like I said, you're not gonna be able to find, and I'm gonna keep it real. For those of y'all who watching right now, I sent two. I recommended two guys. Oh shit! Look at that. I recommended two guys to go spar Boots for Xander Zayas. And for what I understand, they both said yes, so they will be going over there. The guys that I sent are gonna get, yeah, it's gonna be great work. That's all I know. So yeah, man, I'm putting these moves in. But I had somebody from Boots team reach out to me like, yo, so who you got any ideas for who could spar Boots? Yeah. I got you. I said, I got this kid from over here and shit. You know what I mean? Like, he an amateur, but this motherfucker winning all these national tournaments, and he doing this, he doing that. He fast, he switch. You know what I mean? He do a little bit of everything. You know, he high volume. He like to move. He's slick. Yeah. Keyshawn and Shakur would love to work with Xander. You think so? Why you say that? T. Bud Goatford. That's a funny name. He said, I'm not giving Xander a snowball's chance in hell of being Boots Ennis because Xander just not that good. I think he's good, but I just don't think he has the tools necessary to neutralize Boots. Like, he's good, but I don't think he has that extra pizzazz to beat Boots. You feel me? I think I'm gonna keep it real. I think the only way you beat Boots is if you a regular motherfucker not gonna beat Boots. A good fighter not gonna beat Boots. I mean, like, I think you need to be a special type of fighter to beat Boots. That's just what I think. That's why to this day I feel like the only motherfucker that I felt like could beat Boots or at least had a good chance was Bud. Bud is a special fighter. You know what I mean? Trick said, I think Boots investing in the body could pay off a lot of dividends in this fight. Absolutely. Especially with the bigger guys that's coming down in weight. You definitely want to attack that body early and see exactly how well conditioned they are. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of them dudes, when they cutting down in crazy weight, they be good front runners. But then in them last, like you said, them last 3 to 4 rounds, they be gassed. If you attack that body early, they may gas out in the middle rounds. Like we seen Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward play out just like that. You know what I mean? So the body is, whether a fighter's in shape or not, the body is always one of the best avenues to go. That shit's definitely going to pay off dividends whether they sharp or not. You know what I mean? Xander best sparring will be Blast. That will be great work. And they both from Florida, so why not? But I seen Blast put a story up where he said that he ain't sparring niggas no more. So I don't know. Maybe Xander going to have to drop a little bag on him. I don't know. Abayalde 718 says Boots fought a bunch of smaller and lesser fighters than Xander who just come forward. No angles, no nuances. Y'all keep sleeping on Xander, he gonna make Boots look silly. Well, that's what you hoping, brother. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, you said that about Boots, and you know, that may be a fair assessment, whatever the case is. But let me tell you this. And for one, you know, it's not just guys who came forward and things of that nature, because one of the main fights people bring up is the Karen fight. Oh, well, Karen was moving all around the ring, and Boots could have knocked him out, even though he won all 12 rounds. So imagine what Xander's going to do. So the fact that you're saying that Boots fought fighters who just came forward, that's not true. Now, in terms of you feeling like people sleeping on Xander, I'm not sleeping on Xander. I'm giving him all the credit in the world. I've been watching him since he was an amateur. I'm well aware of who Xander is and what he brings to the table. So there's that. What I want to ask you is, who has Xander fought that was bigger than him? And what skilled fighters does Xander Zayas beat to get him ready for Jaron Ennis? That's what I want to know. Okay, that's cool. You made that assessment about Boots. That's your opinion. Now, who did Xander beat that was like this big, better fighter, you know, who had angles, who had nuances. Who did Xander Zayas fight that made you feel like, oh shit, he's gonna be more than ready for Boots? That's what I'm waiting to hear. Let me know. Next Gen said, wait, hold on. McMorland says, the Patrick Teixeira fight was a horrible performance. That Southpaw style gave him fits against an old, slow age fighter. Hey man, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. It's been a while. I pretty much forgot about that fight. I'm gonna go back and watch that. Next Gen said, I'm picking Boost, but I feel like Boost might not stop him. Thinking unanimous decision. I mean, you ain't wrong for that because I'm watching Xander. He doing a whole lot of like explosive leg workouts, bro. He drilling those leg workouts hard, bro. So I already know that he's already planning on moving nonstop in this fucking fight. Like you ain't strengthening up them legs that much if you don't plan on using them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he made it to the cards, but Boots has to take them legs from him, and there's only one way to take legs off of a fighter. If y'all know, y'all know. We already brought it up. Osway said Boots is stopping him easy. Let's not overthink this. You're crazy. Osway crazy. Osway, you gonna be in the building, right? You got to introduce yourself to me, brother. If you run into me, please introduce yourself. JB Too Smooth said the Karen point weak as hell. Karen was a smaller and faster fighter. Xander bigger and not as fast. There's more to target on Xander. And one thing that I say about Xander, bro, Xander literally he moves and then he stayed when he's firing his punches, he right there on the line for you. Like I wish I could dead ass show y'all videos. Like there ain't no cap in what I'm saying. Xander's there. Like he plants his feet and he punches after the movement. Like it's not like we can watch this Abaz Barau fight right now. He's only moving when he's not punching. As soon as he punches, he's right there to be he's right there to be countered. Bass was cracking him, bro. Like I'm trying to tell you, like, oh, Boots ain't got no defense. Is Xander's a fucking defensive enthusiast? Are we serious? It's just I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of these motherfuckers want to see Jaron Ennis lose, so they literally trying to magnify all of Boots' flaws while completely ignoring Xander's. Bro, if y'all watch Xander and y'all watch Boots, right? Do they both have flaws? Yes. But we clearly see one that's more dangerous than the other, right? And then we see the flaws that Xander has that could really get his fucking lights put out that night. You feel what I'm saying? I'm watching Xander right now fighting Abaz Barau. And yeah, he throws, he stays active with his punches and stuff like that. And he moves and shit. But like I said, whenever he's throwing punches, he's right there. And when he's moving, he's not really offensive while he's moving. He settles down, he punches. As soon as he gets on the move, he's not creating offense anymore. He has to settle his feet. So as long as he's settling his feet, he's in line for some of Jaron Ennis' offense. Xander can box. He really can box. He has skills. I'm not underestimating him at all, but I think a lot of y'all just want motherfuckers to get bigged up and then not bring up the negatives. I hope Xander do what he did with Barao in that 9th round and stand in front of him and trade with him. I would love to see that shit. Woo-wee. I would love to see that. Son of Apollo says Boots hasn't fought anyone like Xander. Xander hasn't fought anyone like Boots. Fair assessment. I agree with you, brother. Not says they both fought the same level competition, 50-50 fight, but I do got Boots because he got more power. I don't think anybody that Xander has beat is better than Stanionis, though. It's just me. But, outside of that, yeah, they both got something to prove. I'm going to just say that. All right, bet, Josue. I'm going to hold you to that. He says, in my opinion, Boots fighting under those IBF rules at 47 really depleted him. His fights against Karen were under IBF rules. I think it started to wear on him. His last 2 were not under IBF rules. I think it was only one of them, right? Because after he unified with Stanionis, he moved up. So I think only one fight of his had IBF rules. Because once you unify, the IBF rules is out the window. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about 54, yeah, that wasn't under IBF rules because it wasn't for a belt. Yeah, never mind. I'm thinking we still talking about 47. I'm still trying to figure out who's going to be on this undercard between Xander and Boots, man. I can't wait to see what that is. The thing is, Xander has more to worry about because Boots brings a complete arsenal. Yep. I noticed whenever top rank announcers were doing his fights, they keep trying to overhype him. He's a good fighter, but it's like the announcers keep trying to force you to believe he's super dynamic. Well, you got to think about this. You got to think about it this way, man. It's politics, right? So you're literally talking about Xander being a top rank fighter, right? The fight is being brought to you by Top Rank, and these are Top Rank commentators. So it wasn't like when you have like a Matchroom show, but you got the zone commentators where they could just be, for the most part, and they be biased too, but they could be a little bit more objective. On Top Rank, it's Top Rank fighters, Top Rank shows with Top Rank. What I just say? Top Rank fighters. Top Rank show, Top Rank commentators. You know what I mean? And then you got the ultimate fucking what you call him, company man, and Tim Bradley, who been with Top Rank his whole career, even his commentary career, and he gonna say whatever the fuck Top Rank wants him to say. So of course they're gonna hype up their fighters. That's their product, right? So you know what I mean? Bob Arum, what's that? Brad Gutman, whatever the fuck his name is. They're going to have you, they're going to put something in your ear, pause, where it's like, yo, this our fighter. We want you to really say positive things about him because we're just trying to get his name out there. We want to give him more exposure. You know what I mean? They understand that commentators could be very manipulative to the casual boxing fans, for motherfuckers that don't know what they seeing, right? So you could be like, if you tell somebody, if you got a nigga that's watching boxing that don't know what the fuck they looking at for real, and then they hear the commentary, right? They're gonna believe whatever the commentary tells them because they don't know any better. So if you hype up Xander Zayas, even if they don't know what they watching, they're gonna believe that Xander Zayas is the truth because that's what they hear, and they don't really know what they're looking at. So of course they're gonna do this. Of course they're gonna hype up Xander Zayas. That's their product. They trying to make sure that they get that return on investment. I get it. I know the game. T Bud Goatfer said, bro, you got to go on Mill City. He keep trying to make us believe Xander has a chance. And every time someone say, no, he going to lose, he gets sick and start trying to say ways he could win. I don't really know Mill City. I've watched it. I'll be watching this channel sometimes because, that motherfucker always be instigating, selling drama over there. So, You know what I mean? If shit get heated or whatever, I'll go check it out. But I don't know Mill City, so I don't really don't have a way to communicate with him or anything like that. But I definitely wouldn't mind going on there and debating Mill City. I'll definitely fry him. I definitely fry him for the nation. You know what I mean, it ain't nothing for me to go on a nigga channel and fry him. You know, we did that before with these debate kings and shit. So if anybody know how, I ain't got no problem going on his platform and icing him. You know what it is? Like, that motherfucker can't talk boxing with me, man. A lot of these niggas can't. It says, you know, Top Rank got the best matchmakers in the world. Go look at his competition. That tells you how they feel about him, hence why his handlers didn't want to fight. Yeah. Top Rank definitely do got some of the best matchmakers in the world. I'm gonna just tell you this: if you got Top Rank matchmaking and they try and take care of you and you still losing, you just not it, brother. Like Nico Ali Walsh and all that. Like I seen what they was trying to do with him because he attached the Muhammad Ali name. You know, that's his grandson, so they was trying to build him up to possibly be somebody. But you know, Nico Ali, he just ain't got it, man. No disrespect, he just ain't got it. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they carried a few niggas to world titles who, if they would have been anywhere else, they'd have never been world champion. That's for sure. ETC said Mill City. Shout out to my boy ETC. He must have been playing in the cut or something. He said Mill City shit is a shade room of boxing. He could believe what he want. Them titles be in Philly real soon. That's a fact. That's a fact. Niggas gonna be sick. I think Mill City just be salty because that nigga don't be getting no interviews for real. Because he used to getting interviews from everybody and everybody be giving him time and all that. Boots don't be giving him no interviews because he always be fucking with niggas that be hating on him. Bet you a Boots be like, yo, man, let's do an interview. That nigga hop right on wood. You know how these media niggas be. Mill City, Puerto Rican, though, ain't he, no surprise, he biased towards Xander. Well, I'm Puerto Rican. So I ain't even about to give him that exit, like, oh, he Puerto Rican, you know what I mean? So he got, nah, nigga, I'm Puerto Rican. Okay, I'm calling that shit straight down the middle. I'm calling that shit like how I see it. You know what I mean? Trick said, when things get heated on Mill City, he say hit the like button, master instigator. Yeah, he definitely be instigating. He be hating for sure, but we gonna see that nigga in Brooklyn. Definitely be hating like shit. My boy Rhea in the building. What up? What's going on? What's going on? They was trying to build him up like crazy. I remember what he talking about, Nico Ali. Yo, they was trying so hard, man. Like, I could respect it, though. You know what I mean? It was a little business move. But, man, and Nico, he's a cool motherfucker. You could tell, like, everybody like him. I ain't never heard nobody talk crazy about him. But he just ain't got it, bro. It was cool. It's cool, man. Like, you know what I mean? Some motherfuckers just ain't got it. Cool brother, though. What we on now? We just talking about this Xander boot shit, man. I'm chopping it up with the chat. That's all. You think Nico could fight? I don't think he's elite though. I don't think he's elite at all. Trick said, Mazuma, we know Boots is complete, but from what you see in the Boots, is there one thing that stands out or superior above all the things he does in the ring? It's a good question. When I first seen Boots, what impressed me was it was everything. I ain't gonna lie, but they sparred 4-minute rounds, right? And this is way before he fought for a world title. This was back when he was doing like 8, 10, probably like 8-rounders. This motherfucker would be blasting. I'm trying to tell you, blasting from round 1, 4-minute round, all the way to 8th round, 4-minute round. So his conditioning was just so fucking amazing to me. And people don't understand how difficult that shit is. Like, I would challenge any of y'all to put a fucking stopwatch on your phone for 3 minutes and throw punches for as hard as you can for 3 minutes and see how you feel after that.
It's not fucking easy. I'm telling you that right now. Throw punches as hard as you can for 3 minutes and see how you feel after that. Now imagine doing that for 32 minutes. 8 rounds times 4 minutes. That's 32 minutes. Throw punches as hard as you can for a half hour or some change and see how you feel. Right? So that was what was very impressive about me, his conditioning. But I'm gonna say this too. Because Boo's a lot of this shit impresses me. His reflexes, his speed, his power. When he's elusive. You know what I'm saying? So I think what stands out a lot about Boots is his speed, though, because everybody that I done ever heard spar Boots says the same shit. I brought my guy, Deshaun Jones, over there to spar him to get ready for Ismail Lima. He said that Boots got power, but that's not really what stood out to him. I'm like, okay, so what is it? He said, bro, it's his speed. He's like, bro, like you literally can't see his punches. You feel what I'm saying? He's like, bro, you cannot see his punches. And by the time you see them, it's too late. You feel me? So, like a lot of people say it's the speed, and speed kills, bro. Now, imagine having that speed, but having power and having precision. Like, that's like a fucking triple threat right there. Like, that's people don't understand, bro. And then Boots, mentally, he's sharp as fuck too, because he wobbled Deshaun with a left hand, and he didn't even try to. He wobbled him. He threw like a quick double jab, but he threw the double jab so fast that Deshaun didn't even see the left hand coming right behind it and wobbled him. Like, do you know how sharp you got to be to hurt somebody by mistake? There's people who try to hurt people and can't even do it. Imagine being so sharp with your punches that, you know what I mean, you just let some shit go and then you got a nigga dazed out on his feet, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Like, he has a combination. He has just about every quality that makes you dangerous in the ring, bro. That's why it's going to be really hard to beat Boots. I'm not saying that he's unbeatable, but it's going to be very hard to beat him. I ain't going to lie, man. I think it's going to be very hard to beat him, man. Let me see. Reset. Damn, you talking crazy about our TV. That's crazy. Let's see. Damn, I got a lot of comments. I'm trying to keep up with them, y'all. Definitely hit them likes, though. I'm doing this for y'all. T-Bug Gopher said, how is Boots not getting confused by switching stances nonstop in between combinations, bro? That's crazy. Like, can't he fuck around and cross his feet doing that? I don't understand how he perfected that. Yo, there was times where I didn't even notice Boots switched until I replayed the video. Like, he does it so smooth that you can't even tell that he made the transition. I remember the one time he was like moving. He did like a L step, right? So he literally was moving to his left, right? And his left, he was in the orthodox stance. But then when he jabbed, when he popped the left hand, he threw his, no, I'm sorry. He was moving to his left with his left foot in front of him. So he was in the orthodox stance as he was circling out. His opponent was coming forward. He shot the right hand, and before I knew it, the nigga was southpaw. I was like, how the fuck did you do that? Or at least, like, how did I not notice that you did that? Like, that was, Boots is very tricky, man. Very tricky. He's intelligent too. Like, he ain't no airhead in the ring. Like, he be knowing how to set up his punches. He know how to run you into shit. Like, he's I'm trying to tell you, he has everything. Ben Whitaker and Emiliano Vargas is going to be on the undercard, apparently. Emiliano Vargas is a good addition to the card for sure. I already had heard about Ben Whitaker. ETC says Boots will literally switch in the middle of the combination. I truly believe it's natural for him, not something he practices. I've seen Boots work on that during pad work, though. Like, if you watch, like, his old videos that he do, like, with Rasheem Jefferson and shit like that, I've seen him switch. There was a video on his page that I even recorded. I was the one that recorded the video. He's like, yo, bro, can you record this video for me? And I recorded it. He did it with Coach Smalls. That was back when they was at the Bosie's Dungeon down. What the fuck? What block is that, man? That's is it Tioga? It's not Tioga. Is it? I think it is Tioga. Tioga, like down, not too far off from Frankfurt. Or is it Venango? It's one of them. I don't remember. But he was doing the pad. He was switching during the pad work just like that. I'm like, bro, this motherfucker. No, not Paul Street. Paul Street was 1-on-1. Philly boxing 1-on-1. The one I'm talking about was above Harrogate. So this was like, I think it's Tioga and Venango, is it? Let me see. Yeah, let me see. I'll tell you right now. Where the fuck is Harrogate? Yeah, it was Venango. Yeah, if y'all see this building right here, let me share. He said, I'm going way back then. Yeah, bro, look, I'm gonna show y'all right here. So right here, the first floor, this was Harrogate Boxing Club. Harrogate Boxing Club is where Danny Garcia started boxing at and shit like that, right? So we used to walk into here. We used to park up right here in the corner, whatever the case is. Boom. And there was times where we would walk in. I think we walked in through here before, but this is where Boots would do his strength and conditioning at. Them niggas used to take a rope and climb up to the second floor. They used to climb up. He used to call that shit like the spider. But I think Bozy used to call that shit like the Spider-Man or something like that. Hold on, let me take this shit off the yeah, right here. So let me see. Can y'all see what I see? Yeah, look, this the trenches though. Look at this shit. Look at all that trash and all that. But you know, back here in this backyard of this building, that's where they used to do their strength and conditioning at. Bozy used to do all the strength and conditioning for Boots. But you'll go in through this entrance right here. Boom. And then when you walk in here, there's another flight of steps. So you go up these flight of steps. Hold on. You go up this flight of steps, and then you're at Bozy's Dungeon on the second floor. So it was literally two boxing gyms. One was on the first, Harrogate Boxing Club, and then you had Bozy's Dungeon on the second floor. That was where that was the first time that I went to see Boots in the gym. This is where I got, you know, when I brought the sparring over for him for his first showbox fight with Armando Alvarez. You know what I mean? This motherfucking gym ain't have no heat, cuz. This shit had no heat. This building was literally a fucking shell. I'm trying to tell y'all something. That shit ain't, I'm surprised the shit had electricity. The motherfuckers used to keep the gym warm, bro, because we was in that bitch during the winter. Them niggas literally was blowing kerosene into the gym. These niggas had kerosene tanks. It was blowing heat into the gym to keep shit warm. I don't know how the fuck niggas did that, and that shit was healthy, but it worked. Is it still there? The building's still there, but they I don't know what's up with Harrogate. Like sometimes I'll be hearing that they doing boxing there still. Then I hear other times that it's closed. If you see right here, look, it say something. Say something right here. Something having to do with boxing. But yeah, man. Yeah, this building is still up, but it's not like I don't think it's an active building anymore for boxing. I don't think it is anymore. He said, "Fuck all the trash." Yeah, it don't look like that no more. Cause I still be coming over here. I be driving past here to get my haircuts and shit. This where me, this the neighborhood that me and Michael be getting haircuts at. But yeah, I always pass by this gym, and this is definitely not dirty like this no more. You know what I mean? They've been investing in this neighborhood for a while now. So, you know what I mean? I guess you would say them pink people coming in, so now shit's starting to look cleaner. You feel me? But nah, this is the first time I walked into this gym, and that's when I seen Boots in the gym. That's where we helped him get ready for sparring, all that shit. I went to Philly boxing 1-on-1 before, but it wasn't for sparring. It was just I went over there for business, man. I ain't gonna lie. I went over there to get a couple dollars. Boozy used to call me over. You know what I mean? Used to get a couple dollars, then I'd dip off and shit. Look like a $700K building with a 6% interest on mortgage. Damn. Shit, there was holes in the roof and all that. Like I remember niggas was trying to bring the gym back, but a lot of motherfuckers wasn't trying to pay to fix the roof, and they said that building was collapsing. Actually, I remember one time looking up at the ceiling at Bosie's, and you could see the sky. What the fuck? I said, niggas a hole in this roof. Oh yeah, these niggas tripping. But yeah, man, that's Bosie's. Old Bosie's. Now Bosie's at Philly's next champ. That's all the way up Grant and the Boulevard, man. That's why it'd be hard for me to do interviews with him, because I mean he gave me the green light like 2-3 weeks ago. But you know what I'm saying? It'd be hard for me to get up there, bro. It'd be like 30-40 minutes away. He said it's just a skylight. My gym has a skylight. That wasn't no motherfucking skylight, Teach. My gym has a skylight. Our boxing event's called Boxing Under the Skylight. That wasn't no skylight, bro. That was literally a hole in the roof. Yeah, Boots came out of there. But apparently they was at a gym before that. That was way before my time, though. Hole in the roof is nasty work. Yeah, bro. That shit. I'm trying to tell you, they used to have kerosene tanks. They used to be blowing. What's that, like propane? What the fuck? They had like a whole they had like kerosene heaters, bro. That's how they used to keep the heat in the gym. It's like you light a torch in that bitch. Yeah, that shit was bad. Now I'm watching the Boots and Romaine Villa fight. My nigga. Y'all talk about Boots ain't got no fucking defense. These niggas is tripping. Villa couldn't hit him with none of that bullshit he was hitting Rashidi Ellis with, bro. Man, fucking jab was A1 too. Wee. And even I'm seeing Romaine Villa use head movement. He's still catching him with the jab. Yo, this nigga Boots. Yo. This nigga Boots did a double jab right hook, right? Then when he stepped out of range, he L-stepped and was at southpaw stance. That shit crazy. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, that shit's not normal. That shit may sound simple, but it really ain't. Boots was in the pocket making this nigga miss crazy. Romaine was trying to bring that fight to him too. He wasn't playing with Boots. Boots was just putting him in a blender, bro. One of the best fights that year, no bias. Yeah, man. Oh, you grew up with kerosene heater, so you already know how it go, DOG. Salute. They said the day Villa life changed for the worse. I don't know about his life, but his boxing career definitely changed for the worse after this, John. He was never the same. Because, bro, he dogged the shit out of Rashidi Ellis, bro. Like, Rashidi was out boxing him, beating him up. But that motherfucker's relentlessness, his dog, bro, got him that win. I remember motherfuckers talking about, oh, Romaine Villa strong and Boots. Niggas was bigging up Romaine Villa for that fight with Boots, too. He beat Rashidi Ellis. And he beat Boots. They should have stopped that fight way earlier, though, in my opinion. He took a lot of unnecessary damage. They need to put Boots on the Undisputed video game. Damn, I wanted that, bro. I'm mad because I wanted to ask him about that, right? Because when I seen him at the fights, I'm like, bro, we need to get you on that video game, brother. I ain't gonna lie. But probably the money ain't right, man. That's what it be coming down to. They got to pay these niggas to get on these games. Why Devin Haney ain't on there? Why Ryan Garcia ain't on there? Why Tank ain't on there? It's got to be a money thing. Floyd Mayweather ain't on that game neither. They probably asking for money that they ain't got for real. Wang. Damn. Boots showing tremendous defense in this fight, bro. High guard, half steps back, head movement, pivoting around. Oh, man. Niggas, you look at Boots and you say he ain't fucking technically sound or fundamentally sound, you a damn fool. T.O. in the game too. Is he? Oh, yeah. Ryan Garcia's in the game? Okay. T.O.'s in the game? I ain't see him. I must have not paid for that. Y'all bringing up, man. I'm not going to say that word. I ain't going to say the J word, man. The J word be having them motherfuckers in their feelings. Take your YouTube channel down and all that. I'm cool. I'm cool. But y'all got any last questions before I get up out of here, man? Oh, yeah, you got to pay for T.O. I ain't paying for no fucking T.O. I'm sure T.O. get a percentage of that. I ain't putting no money in that nigga pocket. What? Out of Power said his sister won yesterday. What? His sister won yesterday. Mayweather, her first fight. She like 44. You're going to have to write that again. Who, Mayweather's sister won yesterday? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I seen Christian Rock fought some girl, and Christian Rock won or some shit. I don't know, bro. I don't be paying attention to that type shit, bro. That's circus boxing to me. But I seen Jeff Mayweather was there. I seen Floyd Sr. was there. That's that was beautiful to see. I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot of respect for them, the Mayweather family. Mayweather's sister had a boxing match yesterday. Okay. Yeah, I think they fought in Chester or some shit like that. I think. Oh, they fought they fought at Harris. Yeah. That's in Chester. That's probably like a 40-minute drive from me. Yeah, 35. I went to Harris Casino before for some I think for that same celebrity boxer shit. I ain't like it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like that shit was don't nothing beat the pros, man. I can't fuck with that unorganized ass shit. And I'm watching like with celebrity boxing, but y'all motherfuckers got celebrity judges and they clearly robbing fighters and all that. I don't think robbing fighters is cool on any level. Yo, Mark, how you gonna cover all the boxing Saturday? What you mean, brother? They at different times, man. You got the you speaking about the Naoya Inoue Junto? I think they fight around like 8 a.m. Then Zordo and Benavidez, they fight at night. That'd be cool. Yeah, it is early. I ain't gonna lie, it is early. Hey man, my son wake up around 8 a.m. too, so I don't know. I might have to do a post-fight reaction to that. I probably can't do no live commentary for that fight. You got Monster stopping Junto in 5 rounds? That's early. Like 50 cents per copy sold. So I get $1 for every 2 games it sells. I don't know. Mardo Tarachi, this is gonna be the last question I answer. I'm gonna get up out of here. He said, "What you think the next mega fight in boxing is?" I think Bam versus Inoue, Mexico, Japan, America, 3 countries. I mean, we could say Shakur and Tank, but you know what I mean, motherfuckers acting scary out here in these streets. There's a few fights, to be honest with you. Dev and Boots, maybe. It's a few, man. But I mean, time to tell. But Bam versus Inoue, that's a huge fight. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. If y'all could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We want to the 3,400 mark, looking to crack that 3,500 mark in due time. I'll be back at y'all with another live 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world, man. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.